The purpose of life. It's a great question. And the answer to the question is that just like yesterday we discussed why does God exist, and we said, well, he just does. So the purpose of life doesn't have to be anything we understand. It says in the Holy Kabbalah that God is something you can't understand, but you can sense, you can feel, and we can feel love. We can feel the beauty of unity. And it's really that simple. Why do we exist? One of the great rabbis of our time, his name is Rabbi Yossi Jacobson. The most important Jewish prayer is Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Listen, Jewish people, the Lord God, the Lord is one. What's the idea of one? Why would one make so many different things? But let's imagine a composer that has one note. He only can play a single note. Would anybody come to his concert? No. So he has all these different instruments. We have all these different notes, and each note adds to the whole. And that's the secret of life. History is his story, and you're one of his notes. Your soul, your ups and downs, is the song of the universe. And all the songs together create a melody. So all you need to do to fulfill the purpose of your life is sing the song of your soul. Try to figure out what's the best way I can love, I can help, I can serve God, I can do good. And if every one of us does this, the collective symphony of life plays beautiful music. It's beautiful, it's a symphony, it's awesome, and that itself is the purpose of life. Hello, this question, which is a great question. Rabbi, what is Judaism's view on gender roles? So the very answer to the question, remember what, I think I was in second grade, my teacher helped us. She says, whenever you have a question, you have 50% of an answer. So if they ask you, I don't know, how do you spell 2 plus 2 equals 4? You say the way you spell 2 plus 2 equals 4 is like this. So the very question, what is Judaism's view on gender roles, already is half the answer, that there are gender roles, and the question is, what is the right view? Now, of course, the whole world is made up of gender roles. there is male, female, flowers, bees, everything in the universe is made up of male and female, and that's because they both represent two unique aspects of God. One aspect of God is the giver aspect, and the other aspect is the creator aspect. So for example, if I come up with a new idea, that's like the giver. It's a new concept. Our right brain is what we call chachma, the potential of anything. But that potential, like a seed, it has a potential to grow a tree, but it's not going to turn into a tree until you put it into the ground. And in the ground, if the ground is the right soil, the right temperature, with a lot of nurture and a lot of love and a lot of care, that will turn into the most beautiful creative aspect. And so it's obvious that this universe is meant to be basically male-female relationships, and the male has this potential of creation, but he needs the female to actualize the creation. And therefore we both are given unique gifts. And I'll conclude with a very famous story, and it really sums up this whole gender question, which really is not a question to begin with. You just need the right answer. And there was a very great rabbi, in fact, Reader's Digest quoted this from this rabbi, Zusha of Ani Poli. Zusha was one of the famous stories that can endear us. Somebody once, a wealthy man once came to the Maggid. The great master of the time said, Rebbe, how do I get happy? So he says, go to Zusha. So he went to Zusha, and he sees the guy that's living in a shack. The furniture is hardly furniture. Everything is like not a mess, but it's just like there's great poverty. And Zusha welcomes the guy, and he hosts him, and he says, tell me why you're here. So he said, well, the Maggid, the great master, said that I should learn from you how to be happy. So Zusha says, I don't know why he sent you to me. I don't have any problems. So Zusha was an amazing soul. And Zusha once said, you know, when I get to heaven, and let's say there's a judgment of who I was and what I was, they're not going to say, Zusha, why weren't you like Moses? You know, Moses, that's a great man. They're not going to say, why weren't you like Aaron? Aaron was a great man. Why weren't you like King David? They're going to say, why weren't you Zusha? One of the great books on the purpose of life is a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Tuvia Teldin. Unfortunately, he lost a son, and he had to really dig deep. He said, I learned all this knowledge, but now I really had to apply it. He had to relearn everything just to get the answers to life. And he said something very deep. He said that life chooses you. You didn't choose life. Your purpose in life is chosen. You have a choice now to do your purpose or to ignore your purpose. But all of your soul talent, all of your body, everything you have is only there because that is the role you play. If God needed me to be the sun, I'd be the sun. If he needed me to be Raphael the filmmaker, I'd be the filmmaker. He needs me to be the rabbi, whatever, the husband to my wife, the father to my children, the brother. He needs me in my circumstances. He needs you in your circumstances. And once we get rid of this kind of, as the Rebbe said, and a very good source to read more about gender roles is this book called Toward a Meaningful Life. And they have women and men based on what the Rebbe says. And he says the question is a wrong question. Why? Because often what's happened in life, we see this across the spectrum of basic philosophical mistake, which is whether you're saying it's black and white or this and that. The question is never about who should be in power, because if you're asking the power question, you're already in a power struggle. That means you agree about a power struggle. You're just saying that the power should be this person or this sex or this race. That's a wrong question. The question is only, what is the individual role that God has created me that only I can do and you can't do? And once we understand that all of what God did, because he didn't have to make us have separate genders. He could have made us just one gender. We just kind of keep on, there are certain, certain species, very few, certain flowers that just are kind of asexual. They just keep on repeating themselves. Why did he do it this way? Very complicated. You have to have bees, take pollen to get to a flower. It's a whole system. And it's complicated, and sometimes we get into fights. What's going on? Because the beauty of unity is so great that it's all worth it. It's like, why have 1,000 instruments in a symphony? Just keep it simple, just have a violin. But the point is that the beauty of the symphony, all those instruments together, is so beautiful that it's worth it. And only when the male and female come together, respect themselves, that I can do something my wife can't do and she can do something that I can never do. And we respect what we bring to the table. We honor our God-given mission because we're both here to make God happy, which is really, in a sense, our own soul, by fulfilling our unique and collective potential together. So I hope this gives you a lot of clarity on gender roles. It's the only way we will get past the issues and into the solution. L'chaim v'levracha.